All right, welcome back to the broadcast. We are doing
part two of our highly amusing romance grab bag, where we're going to be talking about romance novels from a perspective of a cover artist, a romance author, and a romance reader. And we're also talking about the history of publication, subgenres, the use of art and tropes in fiction. I mean, all very serious topics with a lot of giggling. A lot of giggling.
Well, some of it is just so.
some of it's so over the top. And as much as I love the genre and you love the genre,
And there's
I
no
enjoy
way
the genre too.
There's no way to talk about this genre without every single phrase being a double entendre. I mean, there really isn't. It's
yeah.
So,
and there are some writers that play it straight, and there are some people that lean into.
And I have to say, I really enjoy. I mean, the last episode, as we were going through it, there was one author in particular that you could really tell that her tongue was in her cheek so far that she couldn't have been able to talk straight.
It was stapled. It was so tongue-in-cheek.
But that kind of thing is fun to read.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Like, how far will they go?
Right. Of all the books that we pulled out of the bag in the unbagging, and there were 13 of them, by the way, in the first episode. So now we're down to...
We have 3 left in the bag. So we got romance grab bags from the local library sale. So just as a reminder that that's where we started. Or if you're joining us here for the first time, Cedar braved the sale, and then Courtney went back over. And because we had so much fun sitting at Courtney's house last night. Cedar's house. Yeah, it's interchangeable. Her house. That one. This one.
It's a cottage.
One of the houses that's not on fire. Going through and looking at them and going, oh, this is that. It was like, you know what?
We should totally
share this information because it is important from a writer's perspective and a cover artist's perspective.
Right. Yeah.
What these signal and how they signal them.
Because we were able to pull them out of the bag and look at the cover and go, okay, this is what this signals. And then we flip it over and then read the blurb, which tells us what tropes are in it. And it's trope-tastic, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can pick them out and you can figure out like where they're remixing and, you know, what the lineage of the trope is for some of them.
Yeah.
And how the different publishing trends during different eras, because we went early 90s to 2014.
2017 was our latest.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we're going to continue with finishing off the first bag, which has 3 more. And then we have a second. So, but we promise we won't go over an hour because the hilarity is a bit much, even for us. So I will be Vanna White.
I love it. Okay.
Shall we go?
Yes.
Shall we go? I'm not letting them see. I don't get to see. And we have one of the biggest names in romance. Nora Roberts.
Oh!
Skin deep.
You knew that eventually we were going to wind up with a Nora Roberts.
This is a really good one to start off with because, wow, is she a queen of romance.
Oh my God.
And this woman, I mean, she set the tone for so much.
Oh my God. Her how to write...
Yeah.
And how to be a professional writer stuff is just amazing.
So something you'll be able to see immediately about this cover is how big the author's name is. And that is because she is a big name. The people that are looking for her books look at the author's name here, and they might look at the title only to make sure that they haven't previously read it.
I mean, the title is an afterthought completely.
The title is an afterthought. It's a new Nora Roberts. You're going to buy it.
Right.
Because that's how these
she
things
has that much loyalty in her,
And the other interesting thing to me is I'm looking at this cover, and I'm trying not to sneak a peek at the blurb, because I'm looking at this cover and I'm thinking that is contemporary romance,
totally, like
obviously.
LA, someplace out on the coast.
And I'm actually wondering if this is one from when she was starting to transition over into the thrillers and suspense, where a lot of her characters were like FBI agents and that sort of thing.
This feels like she has just gotten out of the series, the silhouettes and harlequins and things, and has stepped into...
Yeah, the imprint on this is Mira, M-I-R-A, which I've never even heard of. So you want to do the blurb?
I will do the blurb.
All right. See how close I got?
Stalked by one man, seduced by another.
We've been here before.
Oh, yes. The high price of fame meant learning to deal with obsessive fans. But this one was different. Scary. He was watching, waiting, and Chantel O'Hurley was afraid. She needed help, and it came with a $500 a day price tag. Quinn Doran, a private investigator with the kind of tough, go-to-hell looks that made a woman's pulse race. What Chantel didn't need were his arrogant insinuations that she'd brought this trouble on herself. What she needed was to stay alive.
Okay.
So yeah, we're definitely talking about verging over from
This is
from
into the
romance into the thriller and suspense, but still very much a romance. The bad boy, the private eye. So we're actually invoking some of the noir into this as well.
Yeah, this has more noir. This is like
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart kind of feel too.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
or you know.
And there is an infamous case of an actress who was killed by her stalker.
Yeah.
So this is like ripped from the headlines, probably, depending on the era of it.
Well, yeah, this has very much the whole Whitney Houston.
This is
Kevin
this
Costner
is her. Yeah.
The bodyguard thing.
Bodyguard,
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Okay, go ahead.
When do you think it was published?
94? 2000.
I'm gonna say, just looking at that cover,
It's
I'm
so
going
Miami
with-
Vice.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, early 90s.
1988.
Whoa.
This is her third book with this imprint.
Oh, so this is her just out
This
of
is just out of the silhouette.
Harlequins
Yeah.
and Silhouettes. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an early Nora Roberts.
Wow.
I actually think I'm gonna read that one just because I'm curious. As far as because 1988, this will be the oldest of the ones that we've gone through so far.
Yeah.
But the romance genre was evolving.
It was very much so.
That'll be a really interesting. I'm going to say historical.
What's fascinating to me is there was that era at the end of the 80s where a lot of the big names in romance did the leap into the mainstream.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Nora Roberts and her, Elizabeth Lowell. What's the other one? There's three of them that did the leap from those pages into regular, not pulpy
Catherine
trash
Coulter.
writing.
Right.
Catherine Coulter was another one, but
What
but
was the
but
actress'
there's
sister? What was her name?
oh yeah.
I have
they,
lost
they,
Alice.
they transitioned out of the Harlequin,
The cheap Harlequins.
the signature romance, the very, very formulaic. And not that this isn't any less formulaic,
Right.
but it's a different formula.
Right. It went very much from the pulp to the mid list into the bestsellers.
Yeah.
Right. This was her rise through the mid list.
This was her.
Yeah.
This is mid
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-list.
And
it's-
I'm like, I'm gonna have to read that because it's gonna be an interesting evolution.
That's
of
a
a writer's
transitional.
study.
That's a
This is-
transitional
yeah.
book. So
Exactly.
At least I'm looking at this and I'm seeing two things you're never supposed to do. She head hops in the middle of a scene between one paragraph to the next paragraph. But I'm
do you want to define that for people who don't write?
okay. So you're supposed to stay in one. Now there's current romance genre. You can do one chapter is her point of view. The next chapter is his point of view.
Yes.
Right. So it's you're supposed to stay close third person or first person. And so what she's done is she's gone from one paragraph is her point of view and the next paragraph is his point of view with no obvious transition.
Yeah, that's fairly common in 80s romance.
Oh,
though.
yeah. And
Because you're seeing both sides, you're in both of their heads in the same scene all the way through back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah.
Right.
And that's
Which
and,
brings its own form of tension because
Well,
you
and
can
it's-
see both sides, but
it's
you know that
omniscient
they're
viewpoint.
right.
not.
It's the omniscient viewpoint.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they say you shouldn't head hop, they're ignoring the omniscient viewpoint and ignoring that people did it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when people write like that, like, oh no, you can't do that. Well,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
they can.
You have to be
actually.
good.
But you have
Well,
to be
because
good at
you
it.
have
don't
to be
you
good.
always want to know what your potential lover is thinking? I mean, no, seriously, that
There's a
totally
movie
feeds
about
that.
that.
There's a Mel Gibson movie about that, which is hilarious, by the way.
Oh,
Oh my
love
god,
that.
I love
That's
that movie.
best.
What Women Want, right?
Yeah,
So,
yes.
but that's what that is.
Mhm.
That is exactly what that
That's
is.
what that is,
It
yeah.
tells you, it's like we never know what they're thinking, but you do when you read these books.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it was just, and it's really interesting, like, because I'm open to a, like, random page,
and there it
and,
was.
and I'm looking at, and I see that, and I'm looking at her sentence structure, the way she puts things together.
Uh-huh.
And, like, there's one paragraph, it's impossible. It had to be impossible, but he felt innocence shimmering around her.
Oh.
And it's like you get, and there's a cadence there, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's very much his feelings for her. But the one before that is, this light nibbling sensation on her lips should have done nothing but annoy her. But she lay still, trapped by an urgent desire to absorb the rushing range of feeling it brought to her. The very next paragraph is him feeling it's impossible to feel that innocence around her. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, and that's how you build. This is why
that's why she's so brilliant.
Yeah. And this reading stuff like this, you'll see why she is as big as she is.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I'm actually rather interested at the length of the book.
There's a turn down corner back there.
Yeah, it's the last page.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, sometimes
Accidental
turn down
sometimes
corner tells you where the best page is.
Yeah.
In the book.
But yeah, this is
not a big book.
It's not. So this is pulp length.
Yeah, it is.
And
interesting.
Her more recent books are a lot longer, and the Silhouette books tend to be about this length.
Yeah, they're about that size.
So
so that would have been part of that transition, is going from the short ones to the longer ones.
Yeah, because you had to write to a certain page count.
And this is an afternoon book. You can read this in an afternoon.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
In a day.
Well, also I will tell you something from having worked in a bookstore in the era, in the early '80s era. They sent a stand that these books had to fit on, and the books had to be a certain page count to fit in the slot on the stand.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because you get the 4 for this series and the 4 for that series, and they fit perfectly.
Yep.
They were never more than like that many pages long.
And if you wanted your books to fit there, this was an economic marketing decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the beginning to the end, everything was planned on those books.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, having gone indie, you have the ability to, and I know some authors that do goat gaggers that are like 300,000 words long.
Goat gaggers.
And
but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I always tell those authors, not that they listen to me, that they need to break them up.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, it's really an unwieldy length, for a reader. A reader wants to have a chance to take a bio break and catch their breath and come back to it. And you can write to that huge length, but then if you break it down to the shorter lengths and do quick release, then you're not leaving your readers hanging. You might have a cliffhanger, but it's not like a month or a week later, depending on your tempo, that you're not going to pick that up and keep going with it. If you've got a year in between, then that's an issue. But lengths like this are what is really working well in indies right now. And it's making indie authors better money because we can't charge as much for a book. Well, we can. I've seen people try, but they don't sell well.
Right.
So it fits within the reader's budget, and it fits within the reader's time thing. So oddly enough, those constraints went away and then were rediscovered.
And now they're coming back.
Because it's just a comfortable length.
This is my like when I was reading for myself. This was the length of book I would look for.
Yeah.
Because if it was twice that size, I knew I would finish it in a day.
Yeah.
And I might have to come back to it in a week or two.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like when you go to bed, that's a perfect size book to drop on your face. It doesn't hurt.
It's not going to hurt you. Yeah. Because if you've taken a longer book to bed and it lands
well, it's true though.
Back.
Because you could take this to bed, and if you're a quick reader, have it done in an hour and a half. Not up until 3 in the morning.
Commuters. Commuters on the train.
Commuter book.
That's a commuter book.
Commuter book. But really interesting one. I mean, it just defines a whole lot of...
It fits in your purse. That'll fit in the back pocket.
This defines an era.
Yeah.
An old
really
era
does.
and a brand new one.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of interesting when you think about it.
It's interesting to see it come back
it's
around.
like full circle.
Right.
Yeah. And boy, queen of romance.
Yes.
Keep her out.
Love her.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. Oh, here's another big name. Jill Gregory. Once an outlaw.
Oh, so historical romance.
Oh, wait. With the painting on the inside.
I love that.
I love these covers.
Okay. American
that
West.
was so fun.
I'm trying to, I want to see.
Okay, here you go. Author of Wrangler.
Oh, wow. And we've got this lovely foil embossed.
Foil embossing. Oh my god.
Stag up there. It's not the full cover, but there's definitely some shimmer with her name.
Yes.
I love that. There's times that we
foil embossed covers. Big deal in romance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep, American West.
What's the imprint?
The imprint on this one is Doll, it's broken. I
Dell
can't
Historical.
Dell
tell. Dell
Historicals. Yeah.
Historicals, yes.
Jill Gregory's another one. Big name.
Big name.
I mean, because she
There's
got
a
the fold-out
sticker.
cover.
Yeah.
There's a sticker over part of the blurb. I can't get it off. I'll read what I can. Did he steal her heart, or did she give it away?
Oh.
A newcomer to Forlorn Valley, Emily Spoon vowed never to lose her family or her land again. Here was the future. Uncle Jake and the boys could go straight. She could set up her own dressmaking business. But her dreams for a fresh start turned to dust when a stranger accosted her, demanding to know the whereabouts of the Spoon gang. Heaven help her, Emily had never seen a man so handsome. Only later did she learn his name, Clint Barclay, the sheriff who destroyed her family and now threatened her resolute heart. Wait a minute. Where's
We had another Barkley in there.
Didn't we have a Barclay?
We did. Oh, it was the Malone,
The Irish one.
The Irish one.
I'm like, where did we put that
Oh,
one?
I think it's this one.
Oh,
It's that one.
That one. Yep.
Carson Barclay. So Clint Barclay and Carson Barclay, both of them sheriffs.
I'm going to say somebody's using the same generator, their name generator, or it's all one big Barclay family.
Look at this. Look at the similarities on the font.
Well, the
on
fonts.
those two.
Yeah, here, we should move closer so they can.
Yeah.
It's the same swirly font,
Right.
with the foil and the...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because and those things were one of those dead giveaways that you walked by this in an airport bookstore and you knew that was a romance novel, and probably
Look, it has the sunset. It's a beautiful sunset.
yeah, it's all the pink and the flowers and our shiny
Are there
little
orchids on there
deer.
somewhere?
No,
No, there's no
those
orchids on
are
that one.
actually fireweed.
Okay, so we should look at the
Which I
guy.
recognize.
What are they wearing?
So the guy, here, we'll let you do the
Okay.
costume, because
Oh
you
my
haven't
God.
gotten a chance to do that. Because yes, there are issues. Even I can tell there are issues.
Okay, dead giveaway. So there was a whole industry in painting these in
Yes.
this time frame, and they had these like standard dresses, which you see repeated over and over and over again on covers. This one is the yellow gingham dress. See, it's the yellow gingham dress, and of course he's wearing the trench coat you wear on the horses, right? In loose jeans, which have no wear at all, with this very loosely tied on. Oh my God! Look at obviously somebody who does not deal with guns dealing with that, and the flowing loose hair in a time where flowing loose hair said "hussy" all over it.
Yes.
So yes, but he's got his sheriff's badge and he's got fur. So it's like pre-90s. I mean, because he's got a furry chest. Because hairy guys was not a thing, and his hair is too short. And where's his hat?
In his
His hat. He's got a black hat because he's the bad
does have a
guy.
black hat.
So that tells an enormous story right there.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
what's our publication?
Can I go past? No, I didn't go past it. Okay. Keep going, and 2001.
That's got to be a reprint, or is that a current?
It's not saying anything about a reprint. Cover art was done in 2001 as well.
2001.
So it's
They're
interesting.
reusing.
It's right at the
Reintroducing,
very
yeah.
end
Yeah.
of.
Well,
But,
the other thing with this one too is that we have a girl who's got a bad family,
yes.
but a pure heart.
Mhm.
We've got Julia Roberts with the pure-hearted
Yep.
prostitute, although she's not a prostitute, with the bad family that she loves, but she desperately wants them to be good.
Right.
But she has to answer for all of their crimes to the sheriff who doesn't believe her.
Yes.
So is she the damaged damsel in distress? Until he discovers that she really is pure of heart?
Yeah. We're looking at it's the hooker with a heart of gold with a slight twist to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and she's out doing something, and Nugget reared straight up, whinnying in terror where Emily fought to stay in the saddle. "Whoa, girl," she cried, but it was too late. And then, slightly later, trying to block out the throbbing in her ankle and the rain soaking her face, Emily gritted her teeth and began to crawl. So definitely damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're halfway through the book there. So we've already set up a bunch of stuff, and now we've got her helpless and injured and miles from
Camp.
I must be about 4 miles from the line cabin. So miles from camp.
Yeah.
And alone.
And he's going to find her and take her someplace warm.
Mm-hmm.
Bet you money. And they won't explore the tension.
They might acknowledge it.
They might acknowledge the tension, but he might kiss her inadvertently. Wow, have we read this scene?
By the time he was finished, Emily was clenching her hands and biting her lip, and she was whiter than a lily. And I will leave that.
Girl in trouble.
Oh yeah, no, damsel in distress, and I mean, for a twist, it's she who is either an outlaw or connected to outlaws, rather than the guy. But that's about the only twist there.
Well, I mean, it was in 2000, so they're running out of tropes at that point, right?
Well, and it's interesting that it was in 2000 because that's very much a Western
It's kind of a throwback,
romance.
yeah.
And it is a throwback for that era.
Feel. Feels like the last gasp of a particular kind of trope. It does have that feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably also written for the older generation of romance readers who still like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean that cover, we all thought it was older than it was, so
it was appealing to that
throwback.
Right.
Yeah.
It was it's deliberately going for a very certain section of the audience.
Yeah, which has not given up on those.
No.
Yeah.
And they still love them.
They still love them.
Yeah.
So, but it was a little more modern. Even, so now this one, the color on this one is amazing because it's not red. So, Island of the Swans.
Ooh, that one looks shimmery.
It has a historical castle.
I mean, it's got like that holographic foil going on there.
Winner, best fictionalized biography from Romantic Times.
Oh.
Okay. Who's getting this one?
It's Courtney's turn.
My turn. All right. C-I-J-I. That is a name.
CG.
C.G. Ware is a true master at bringing to life a story so fascinating that it should come with a warning. Do not start unless you want to be up all night. Okay, so that's the review from Romantic Times, which is actually
that's pretty good.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh dear. Okay. In this resplendent love story of a dazzling era comes vividly. Dear God. Purple prose on the back, man. In this resplendent love story, a dazzling era comes vividly to life as one woman's passionate struggle to follow her heart takes her from the opulent cotillions of Edinburgh to the London court of half-mad King George III, from a famed salon teeming with politicians and poets to a picturesque castle on the secluded, lush island of the Swans. Are you ready for who this is about? Best friends in childhood, Jane Maxwell and Thomas Fraser wreaked havoc on the cobbled streets of Edinburgh with their juvenile pranks. But years later, when Jane blossoms into a beautiful woman, her feelings for Thomas push beyond the borders of friendship, and he becomes the only man she wants. When Thomas is reportedly killed in the American colonies, the handsome, charismatic Alexander, Duke of Gordon, appeals to a devastated Jane. Believing Thomas is gone forever, Jane hesitantly responds to the Duke, whose passion ignites her blood, even as she rebels at his fierce desire to claim her. But Thomas Fraser is not dead.
Of course not.
And when he returns to find his beloved Jane betrothed to another, he refuses to accept the heartbreaking turn of events. Soon, Jane's marriage is swept into a turbulent dance of tender wooing and clashing wills, as Alex seeks to make her his and his lone.
Wow. So we have not run into the triangle trope before.
We haven't.
This is the first
triangle.
Yeah.
Right.
This is interesting.
Yes, indeed it is.
Mm-hmm. The names sound so familiar, so I'm like, I know
this
they're...
This is also a revised edition.
Revised edition. Oh, so they updated it.
Oh,
yeah,
I
wonder where that one was first published.
Let's see.
They don't tell us.
That would be me.
Okay,
And
so...
Okay, so...
Do we want to take a guess on when this was published?
Late 1980s.
1988.
There you go.
Yep.
The Gordons boldly did advance. The Frasers fought with sword and lance. So this is...
Yes. These are fictionalized biographies. These are actual people.
Yep, these are actual people.
Which now I don't want to read it because usually the clothes are wrong.
Usually. And usually Yep. Okay, so I do know these names. That's why. Okay. So it has...
Maxwells are a big family. Yeah, in Edinburgh, in Scotland, Maxwells are a big deal. Because Elizabeth Lowell is a Maxwell. She's married to a Maxwell. Yeah, so
So this is 1760 to 1767 for the
our
first
clothes will be
part.
wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Because
So this is a deep historical romance.
yes,
Right.
Love triangle.
yes,
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 and
with
it's
some
not
actual research behind.
you would hope.
one hopes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say the characters are wonderful. There's author's note and acknowledgments. Dear God, this is long author's note.
She did some research.
So,
Yeah.
The life of Jane Maxwell, on which the novel of Island of the Swans is based, has never been examined in depth by any serious scholar. Most of what we do know about this fascinating 18th century Scottish woman of fashion, who fate decreed would be beloved by two men and would become a confidant of poets and kings, comes from passing references made by some of her contemporaries. Including in this group are the Prince of Wales, Sir Walter Scott, Robert Burns, William Pitt the Younger, Dr. Samuel Johnson, and Sir Joshua Reynolds.
Wow, fascinating. I imagine she was a fascinating woman.
I imagine,
yeah.
So
Yeah, but it does have it has the love triangle.
mhm.
She obviously ends up with her husband, but there's going to be a torrid love affair.
right.
So
Yeah,
it's
wow.
fascinating.
I'll bet
That's
there was more
cool.
than one torrid love affair.
Yeah, that's yeah.
She has
Interesting.
Dangerous Beauty.
All over
Written
her.
all over
Oh
her.
yeah. If she's
Yeah.
singing with that kind of crowd,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
and intelligent men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole because I have heard of her.
Yeah,
you know,
so have I, which is
Yeah, so interesting. Very
very
interesting.
cool.
Yeah,
It's-
so deep historical love triangle with a touch on true history.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a meatier version of a romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just pre-Regency.
So. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting era to set something in too.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't
it's
see...
an uncommon time
Exactly.
frame. Yeah, because it's not King George was bananas. I mean, that's where Bridgerton is sort of set, is in that time frame.
Yeah.
But they've let's not go there.
It's pre the prince taking.
Right, it's pre the prince, but
Yeah.
but one of the things Bridgerton, because that's a romance series, even though the clothing is completely wrong, but that's okay.
Right.
Because the clothing is communicating something specific.
Yeah.
And it's a fantasy
Yeah.
set in a sort of Regency world. Whereas
Right.
this is set in what should be the true world.
Right.
And with some
liberties taken.
Some liberties
Yeah.
taken because there's women don't talk a
Fictionalized.
certain way in that time frame,
Right.
right? So it makes me wonder what she was really like.
Right.
You know?
So it's very
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is, again, we keep finding these new little
We do.
subgenres in the romance realm.
Well, the romance realm
huge.
is the same size as the entire rest of publishing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it embraces all the genres in the
Mm-hmm.
entire rest of publishing. So
And the whole gamut of human experience boils down to romance. Boy meets girl and they have babies. So, yeah.
or they have a baby and he doesn't know about it.
That's a whole other trope.
Right?
So watch Courtney twitch. Okay.
So these we have actually seen before.
We have.
Well, you know
But
what I
no,
like though?
But you're picking them out. We don't know what you're doing.
So this was my tropes that I read all the time.
Uh-huh.
This is Silhouette Desire.
Oh yes.
Silhouette Desire were the steamy romances. There was actual sex in here, very formulaic.
Yes.
I usually knew what was going to happen ahead of time. And the title of this one was Her Torrid Temporary Marriage.
Wow. They used torrid in the title.
For Silhouette Desire, but that's what people
That's
were
exactly
looking for.
right.
Silhouette, I mean, it was all red. I remember when these books came out, everyone was like, oh my God.
It's actual on-screen
These are the steamy on-screen sex ones, you know?
because the previous Harlequin, if there was sex, it was closed doors. It faded to black and
Silhouette books fade to
Right.
black, right?
Yeah.
But these were you're getting the skin. So those usually had turned down pages.
This one does not.
No, but I can tell you it's about page 75. So
One red hot husband. Maddie Ryan had no illusions about her temporary husband. Long, lean, darkly compelling, Josh Brand was every woman's fantasy. And everyone in Texas cattle country was going to wonder why in blue blazes he'd married his gawky cowpoke neighbor. Well, Josh needed a mom for his baby, and Maddie needed a man. The arrangement had seemed simple, a 1-year, no-love involved commitment. But Maddie and all her experience did the unthinkable. She'd fallen for her husband. Worse, she welcomed Josh's steamy stares, sizzling caresses, and words of seduction. Now the last thing Maddie wanted for her torrid temporary marriage to end. There's a plot moppet.
It's a plot moppet, but also in Silhouette Desire, one of the tropes constantly was totally innocent girl.
Yep.
With the dark and mysterious man, you know, and plot moppet.
Plot moppet. Yep.
Let's see here. Sex scene at page 83. Page 82, page 83.
It's probably started at 75. So the sizzling looks started around then.
I'm actually looking. Well, okay. So on page 75, they are negotiating. Literally, here's to a happy, successful bargain, Maddie. So then they're having dinner and drinks together, and that segues into...
There you go.
Yep.
Yes.
Because usually 75 to 78. You just go right there.
Yep.
Amazing how I know that.
That's so I have a beat sheet that tells you what page, how long each of your scenes should be.
It's exact.
It follows exactly that.
Yeah. These are exact.
How many pages in that one?
Let's see here. This one has
242, 248,
187.
Right about there.
Yeah. So that's probably about a 50,000 word book.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. It actually mentions that she's on the pill. Last page.
Well, yeah, because she has to regulate things because things are a little weird.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's always the worry that he may have gotten her pregnant.
And the center is the.
There's always a game in the middle.
The game, but I'm also laughing because I remember finding the postcards in the middle of books.
Yeah.
And no postage necessary if mailed in the United States. I have to wonder what would happen if you actually mailed that in.
Now, yeah, not so much, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were just so... And you knew who was good, right? So
no, I mean, total formula. But again, it's comfort reading because the reader wants to know instantly from the time they see that cover, they know what they're going to get, which makes it a safe buy.
What was also interesting with these covers is very often the cover was a scene from the book. Yeah, very often, which is not something you see with a lot of books now. But this was very definitely a scene.
No, as a cover
and
artist,
the hair covers, the hair color and the clothing matches. So
because that was something that the readers wanted.
They paid attention.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to know that what was on the cover was in the book. So, oh my god, off we go in a different direction.
Oh.
Heart Song presents.
Oh yes,
Gloria's The Newcomer.
Okay, so we were all able to tell this one yesterday when this one popped out of the bag because we immediately all looked at it and there's some symbology going on here.
Yeah, like the lighthouse.
Right, exactly, with the lighthouse. And the lighthouse in this case is not a phallic symbol. No, this is a symbol that this is a Christian romance.
Yep.
Because it's the light into the world. Also, if you can
and
see
finding and being safe. Yeah.
Right, if you can see the couple, they are embracing but not facing one another. Which is again,
so is it my turn? No, your turn.
Your turn.
Your turn.
Yeah, you should get the Christian one.
Yeah.
Sure. I know.
I've actually read a lot of these.
Yeah, so different formula, but really interesting.
I had friends who knew my family was Christian and knew that I liked romance, and so I got stacks of them.
Really?
For gifts or for, hey, we saw this and thought of you, and just like handed so I read all of them and I'm like, oh my god, why am I reading this? It's so a lot
of them are really, really bad because
oh my god.
Well, and this frustrated me because I grew up in a very religious household, went to a very religious college for a while. So I read a lot of this stuff because it was what was available, especially like when I went to college, the only relaxing reading was like Christian romances, which are all highly formulaic and very frequently badly written, but they sold because they fit the approved niche.
They're badly written. They're badly plotted. They have bad theology in them.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Like it's
and
bad.
bad relationships, and they're
Yeah.
just bad.
Okay, so Marigold can't believe the
Oh
nerve.
God, her
of
name is Marigold.
Marigold.
Right out of Grace Livingston Hill, first of all.
Believe the nerve of Gordon Chambers. Sorry, Marigold McCorkles.
Oh, this
Sorry.
is why she's marrying Gordon, to get his last name.
Get away from this name.
Marigold McCorkle's well-to-do father demanded she work as a nursemaid for a year to remind her of her family's roots and teach her some humility. When her employers drown in a boating accident, their children have no one to care for them until their uncle arrives from out west.
Plot Muppets.
Plot Mobbit.
Plot Muppets.
But his tardy arrival causes Marigold's impatient fiancé to cancel their engagement.
Ooh.
Gordon Chambers dreams of Alaskan gold. The last thing he wants is to be burdened with his late brother's responsibilities in New Jersey. Especially not two precocious little girls and their beautiful, uppity nursemaid. Determined to sell his brother's boating business and then find a boarding school, he ignores warnings about the safety of the excursion boats until one of them begins to sink with his niece on board. Will Gordon abandon those who've come to depend on him, or we discover that Marigold and his nieces are more precious to him than gold?
Well, okay, there's some really interesting stuff going on there. So the fiance breaking off the engagement makes it not a love triangle, which would not have been acceptable in a Christian romance.
But she'd been abandoned because she had this. I mean, that's shame upon her,
Right.
for not being there for him,
right,
and
the
being
betrothal
appropriate.
is broken
Yeah.
there, but it negates the love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm gonna guess that he comes back into the picture a little bit just because
Later, once
that's how these things work. It's very, very much off of the Grace Livingston Hill formula.
It's also Good Girl Taming the Wild Man.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And giving him a pre-made family and forcing him to settle down into that pre-made family.
Right.
And forcing him to face up to his responsibilities, which is actually interesting.
Well, it's interesting. It's because it's the you must come back to what a proper man is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Stop
And-
chasing your dreams, settle down, do the whole family thing.
And she must be humbled.
Yeah, that
Because
made
she's-
me go, what?
Yeah.
probably a little full of herself.
Possibly. Or just,
Independent.
has ideas above her station. That's not acceptable.
Or has this some idea that her responsibility lies outside of family and home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she also must be forced into
This would be better written if they put the kids in a boarding house and they both went to Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or take the kids with them to Alaska.
Or just
Right.
said, let's just go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Take the kids with them.
Because that.
Yeah.
mm,
This I would have walled this at 13, much
yeah,
less now.
pretty much.
Yeah. No,
Pretty
okay,
much.
here, give me a second.
Interesting.
I'm curious. I'm opening to the middle.
Okay.
So,
Oh my god, it's like even the way it's formatted is like shoot me now.
A gasp caught his attention. Marigold, her hair restrained by a lacy cap that would have looked better on Mrs. Cromwell, and wearing a gown that made her skin look the color of a fish's belly, knelt in front of one of the bookcases, a heavy tome in her hands.
She's literate. Oh no.
Oh no. That's why the humble
She-
and the
she was-
nursemaid.
She was caught reading a book.
Oh no! A heavy tome even. Okay, let's wander off to something more fun.
Yay.
Well, this one's interesting. It says very little on the cover.
Yep.
Amanda Ashley, embrace the night.
That cover is so
It's so clean.
well. That cover says a lot.
That
but
cover
the
is
interesting
so
thing about that
clean.
cover is that it's very cinematic,
Mhm.
where you'll see the repeated themes of it's not just a scene, but we've got the repeated themes of the main hero here, but he's also here. So in
This dark hair.
and you'll
and
see
his
that
brooding look.
that compression of composition in cinema posters.
Mhm.
So this is a little bit different cover.
And it has the dark, stormy clouds and the wind in her hair.
And
And the red.
this one is a leisure romance.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, there's not a lot going on in that cover.
That cover is really clean.
yeah.
There's no blurbs on it. I mean, this is simplicity in printing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's all about the art, which is kind of nice.
well, it's also all about the don't make it too expensive. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, they might not have had a blur before. Master of darkness, mistress of light. A creature doomed to wander the earth in eternal darkness, he searched the ages for someone to share the endless night of his existence. For that one woman who would recognize the man within the monster. Calling out Beauty and the Beast right there. An
Buffy!
angel of purity and sunlight, she feared the mysterious stranger, whose eyes promised endless ecstasy, even as he whispered dark secrets she dared not believe. They were two people longing for fulfillment, braving the danger of a love like no other. Alone they faced desolation and despair. Together they would share undying passion, defy eternity, and embrace the night.
Yeah. So
So
it's
that
definitely
needs to be-
vampire romance.
That needs to be like read in the movie voice.
Uh-huh. We need to get Jack to read that.
Oh dear. It
Jack
was
Wilder pays.
It was his
Like crazy
voice,
though.
loud and clear in her mind.
So paranormal.
Oh yeah.
Clearly
vampire
paranormal vampire romance, but
Yeah.
not saying that it's vampire romance.
No.
So it's like a little before that was okay.
It's calling like so the cover's actually calling it to like old gothic romances.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
very
is.
much.
And so that was the hint before you could actually say it was a vampire romance.
Yeah.
That it was a vampire romance because it's calling to the yeah, like the old gothic stuff where he is not. There's some there's mystery.
Is he one of the evil ones? And the pure woman.
Yeah, right, with her
turned-
neck.
Yes.
Well, okay, and this is weird. Maurice flinched as Gabriel's hands fastened on his shoulders, anchoring him in place. The vampire's eyes seemed to burn a path to his soul. Fear, unlike anything he had ever known, rose up within him, and then he felt it. The sharp prick of fangs at his throat, the sensation of blood being drawn from his veins, the sound of Gabriel swallowing.
It's very. So the thing about vampire romance is that it makes the act of feeding a vampire very sensual, and the fact that he's, and a lot of them it's the be my monster, where the only person that he can feed off of is the heroine after a while. So it's interesting that you're 3/4 way in the book, where he's feeding off of a man.
Right. That's what I was remarking on. Is wait a minute, he's feeding off of. Okay, there's a line above that I missed the first time. Have you ever thought of being dinner?
Okay, so we have cheeky vampire.
Well, yeah, and this is Maurice is evidently the female love interest had fled, and now the vampire is stalking this Maurice, and then the vampire feeds on him, which is kind of odd because usually it is very strictly male female, and bringing another guy into that is
okay, so this one's later.
So I will say that Amanda Ashley is it does werewolf romance and vampire romance.
Oh, fun. Okay. Yeah.
So I may have read a couple of her books.
No, research. It's important.
It is very
all
important.
this.
era.
I say 2000s.
2000s.
1998.
Oh,
So
Very-
Buffy.
Yeah.
This is Buffy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because Spike. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Right, and again with two guys, one girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the plot. I didn't
Tortured
read
soul
enough.
and completely comfortable with his tortured soul.
Right,
Right.
probably.
But never good enough.
Right.
You know, the icon and the never good enough. I'm sorry, Spike was by far more interesting to me.
Oh my god. He earned his redemption. Like that.
You're right. He completely earned it.
Yeah.
And that whole scene of "I love you." No, you don't, but it's okay. So that was like the ultimate love story. And when you tear down a building while you're having sex, I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't want that?
Right?
So
And as long
I
as
don't
you can
know.
survive it.
That might fall under the waterbed and satin sheets kind of thing.
no, with the two of them, it was like
It was
totally tearing down the
totally-
building.
yeah.
So I mean,
I have not seen all that much Buffy.
Oh my God.
My oldest daughter was into Buffy, and I watched a few episodes with her, but that's about it.
oh
Okay.
my God.
So we're gonna add that to the Earth Girls Are Easy. We have to do movie marathon.
Okay, so I just want to tell you, 3 seasons of Buffy got me through 600 butterfly wings for Snow Queen. And I was just waiting for Spike to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Spike is so, I mean, I love it. He sees a video of Billy Idol. He's like, oh, Wanker stole my look. Because he's older, right?
Right.
So,
Vampire.
but no, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like,
Oh.
I'm all about
Okay.
Buffy. That's
Buffy
Yeah.
is,
yeah.
glorious in so many ways.
Which is a romance in its whole other form
Uh-huh.
of the long form romance
Mhm.
where there's I'm gonna say stalking, but that's not really what I mean. But in that case,
Oh, that's
it
exactly
is
what
I
happens.
mean.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Through a long, prolonged thing, which you don't see as much in a romance novel because it's not what the readers want.
No,
So,
God knows we waited forever for Spike and Buffy.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh my god.
terrible.
Yes.
So, okay. And up next we have, oh my god, this style of book. Robin Lee Hatcher, Patterns of Love, complete with cross stitch on the front. See, is there any interior decor? No, they just have this stuff. But it's perfect. It's the right fabric for doing the doing cross stitch.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting as cover art. I mean, it's very stylistic. It's definitely saying something there.
No, it appeals to anybody who does any kind of
Any kind of
needlework.
cross-stitch, yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
historical romance.
And it's a very, very clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those, so it's a Harper historical romance. It's another one that harks back, like the other one, to a different, an odd time period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swedish immigrant Inga Lindberg might not be as beautiful as her flirtatious sisters, but that doesn't mean she doesn't share their romantic ideas. When Dirk Bridger, a handsome but beleaguered Iowa farmer, approaches her minister father for help in caring for his orphaned nieces and ailing mother,
Plot moppets.
Inga immediately volunteers. Inga goes to live at the Bridger farm as a housekeeper and finds that all is in disarray. Gradually, with patience and understanding, she begins to smooth the family's rough edges. As Inga falls in love with Dirk's little nieces, she is helplessly drawn to their bitter uncle too. If only there was a way to live forever with this charming but lost family.
Beauty and the Beast.
But could she risk her secret dreams
The teacup humans.
of being loved by Dirk in return when she knows that she is destined to leave them all behind? That her future... there's a sticker.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
they've
is
got
very
stickers
much-
in bad places. But I think we can tell a lot about it just based on
Yeah.
that, because I mean we've got the plot moppets, we've got the Insta family,
Right.
We got the Taming the Wild Beast.
It's the Beauty and the Beast. It's also very Sarah Plain and Tall. So this is very
yeah,
This
Yeah.
is Mail Order Bride.
right.
Yep,
Yep.
it is. And,
Yeah.
And the
this cover
housekeeper
is
thing,
so
too.
deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
It's so deliberate.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes into that homespun thing that we were touching on
Yeah.
with another Iowa setting.
Right.
What's
Right.
it with Iowa and Idaho and you know, it's
Iowa.
like
Corn-fed farmers.
obviously we need to go somewhere else for husbands. I mean, it's like, right? Although I admit I watch Cornstar Farms and I have to admit, you know, his dad talks like a Muppet but is like such a wonderful man. You know,
I just recently
On
came
YouTube.
across
Yeah.
a video by that one.
Yeah.
The kid, right?
Yeah, he started at 22, and the kid's brilliant. And
Yeah.
he's turned around his grandfather's farm completely.
Yeah.
And Daddy Cornstar talks like a Muppet and is so proud of his kids. And his kids are astonishingly competent.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is
because
awesome.
he's raised him that way. But anyway.
I just found the wedding scene.
Oh, really?
Halfway in.
Halfway in.
Okay.
This is what God hath joined together. Let not man put asunder. Her papa had said, and to those words she added her own silent amen.
So halfway through she gets
Halfway
married.
through they get
And then they
married.
have trauma.
I was going to say
And then
that,
they have
that-
to
so
figure out how to
therefore we
actually-
still have plot
I
stuff
bet there was,
happening
I
after
bet there
that.
was something that they had to get married because something looked wrong.
I'm guessing his mother dies and she can't live in the house
Oh,
as
right.
a single woman.
But she can't leave the children.
She can't leave
But
the
she can't
children.
leave the children, and he doesn't want to be alone with the children because God knows.
I'll
Right.
just marry her and I'll solve the problem.
Right.
And then
Okay.
he has to
And then he
grow
has
to love her.
Mhm.
Yep.
There we go.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Oh.
Have we been down this road before?
Maybe a
We
few
may
times.
have read a lot.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Sophia Nash. Love with the perfect scoundrel. We haven't had a scoundrel. Well, we have. But...
like Regency romance, but
oh my God. Where is your goddamn chemise?
your skin is touching the fabric.
Only a man with a mysterious past could tempt the Countess from the Isle of Ice.
Okay, now I'm confused. What? So it's an Avon historical romance.
Avon Publishing.
Oh, they were so fun.
They were.
Did you read that one or did I? No, you read it.
I read it,
Okay.
yeah.
Twice jilted, Grace Sheffy has given up on love, no longer capable of maintaining her elegant facade with her intimate circle of friends. She has little choice but to flee, right into the teeth of a blizzard. But when a wretched carriage ride ends in disaster, a rugged, imposing stranger is waiting to save her life and her heart. Michael Rainier is a man of many secrets, secrets that could place the Countess in terrible danger. But concealed in the wilds of Yorkshire, he can't help but unleash her hidden reserves of desire and fortitude, and challenge her to blossom into the woman she was destined to become.
Totally sex book.
A lady willing to sacrifice all to find love with a perfect scoundrel.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, and richly emotional and lusciously sensual. So
Sex
definitely a sex book.
Avon.
Yep.
So suddenly,
Oh, look, somebody dropped into the bathtub.
yeah.
There's water damage on the edge.
Suddenly, her many layers of soft night clothes recovered from Mr. Brown's carriage seemed for the first time suffocating. That was halfway through the book.
Halfway through the book. There you go.
Yep.
Well, that one's pretty obvious.
You can tell it just from
God.
the colors on the cover.
Okay, so we had Silhouette Desire. Dun dun dun. And then we had the other end of it, Silhouette Books.
Oh my.
The legacy begins. Firstborn Sons. This one we were talking earlier about the
Right.
continuing series. I don't even know who wrote this one. Born a Hero by Paula Dedmer Riggs.
Okay.
This is how authors they would sell a series with a whole
Right.
series
With
of
a whole
family.
bunch of with a whole bunch of families.
That
And
is almost unreadable. Red text
It's
on
horrible.
a dark brown.
It's a terrible. The earlier covers were better, but this is when they went to
and this
photography.
is, I was going to say, that's a photograph.
Yeah, they went to photography at a certain point, and because they were just churning. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
And I've
this
done
was
the-
cheaper.
I've
so-
done the super
Right.
cheap covers. Like this is
Yeah.
this is a $5 cover, quite
Right,
frankly.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, this firstborn son thought he was prepared for anything, except teaming up with his beautiful former flame on a crucial rescue mission. Lives were at stake when Dr. Elliot Hunter was called by his father to report to Montbello after a bombing. Word had it that a terrorist act was the result of the long-raging feud between the powerful Kamal and Sebastiani kingdoms. Years ago, an emotionally bereft Elliot had ended his short-lived affair with Catherine Remsen and returned to the field, shattering her dreams. But now, working together around the clock, was healing up old wounds and rekindling pent-up desires. Could Elliot restore hope to Montbello and the heart of the woman he loved?
Are we making up?
No, this is a trope.
Mm-hmm.
This is a rekindled romance trope.
No,
Yeah,
I
second chance
rekindled the
romance.
romance I get, but the country name.
They make up.
Yeah, they make up the country
they
names.
made up kingdoms all the
Okay.
time
Yeah.
in Silhouette. Yeah, they would make up kingdoms constantly and stuff. But this is very much it didn't work before because we were damaged.
Uh-huh.
And
we were both too focused
young,
on our careers.
Right.
too focused. So we not adult enough.
Mhm.
Didn't understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And come back to understand each other through
Yeah.
a stressful
It's a
circumstance.
second chances thing.
Second
Yes.
chance at love.
It's a second chance romance. This is still a Hallmark movie.
It is.
It's like Hallmark with like 24.
Yeah.
So
I'll bet you that's like 2000s, late 2000s. So
Yeah, late 2000s, I think, just based on that cover.
2001.
Early 2000s.
Wow. So this was before 9/11. It had to have been before 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
So. it's
Yeah, and
fascinating.
There you
right, and that's interesting that they did the terrorism
okay,
thing.
so we have like 5 more minutes. So
Okay.
in this hour of romance visitation. So,
Right.
so we're gonna go for one more here. What do you guys
Okay,
think? One more?
One more.
Oh, we still haven't found.
Yeah, I know.
The one that the trope that Courtney hates.
Maybe this one is it.
Okay, we'll see.
Donna's going to put her thumb on the scale.
I am. Because we haven't hit it yet.
Jonna knows the one.
Somebody's baby.
No! Sorry.
Uncommonly heartbreaking, emotionally charged, will captivate women everywhere.
She can read
I
it.
can read the prompt and then she can rant.
I don't know if it's the right one.
Oh my gosh. It was love at first sight. He was a bad boy, an irresistible ex-con from the wrong side of the tracks.
Ooh.
She was a nice middle-class Jewish girl, smart and quiet, prettier than she even knew. Will and Jenny shared a passion that defied their backgrounds, and when Jenny got pregnant, they planned to elope. But on the big day, something went terribly wrong, and after the baby was born, Jenny gave her up for adoption to a nice couple who called her Claudia and now raised her as their own. Now Claudia is all grown up. While she loves her adoptive parents, she is haunted by dreams of her other mother. Curious to discover the truth, Claudia begins a search that will lead her to the avenues of Manhattan and the mountains of California, to a man and woman separated by fate and time, whose love for each other still burns strong. That didn't go places I was expecting it
did
to.
not. Okay, so actually, it did what let's start over. I just like plot moppets. This is definitely a second chance romance.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Using a plot moppet.
And using a plot moppet.
right, and a mature second chance romance.
Yeah.
which we haven't done any
We haven't-
real like mature romances in here.
And I'm guessing Claudia gets her own.
She probably gets her own book.
Oh, her name's Oliver. Sorry. So the thing that, okay, there's a trope that I absolutely despise in romance novels, and it's called the secret baby. Where
Got one in here.
and it's a Harper choice. Okay, so this is interesting. So what typically happens is she gets knocked up when they're very early into their relationship, and then they break up and flow apart, and she gives birth to the baby and either gives it up for adoption or keeps it and uses it. Yes. We'll get to this one in a moment. So in this one,
We're running long. That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in this one, she gets pregnant, gives the baby up for adoption, and they split. Like they do things in the right order to actually have a chance at rekindling a romance later.
Yes.
Right.
So they do the appropriate, responsible thing, not hiding the baby from the person it belongs to.
Yes.
Yes. Although you have to wonder how much choice he was given in the matter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious now to read that one and see how
See where they go with that.
Right.
But it's not, she didn't use the baby as a hold on him later.
Mhm.
Yeah, which you
Right.
see far too often.
Right? It's
Or they show up and they have to work
evil.
together, and that child is just the right
just
age.
the right age, and oh, maybe question, and she's like, oh, I know it's yours, but I wasn't going to tell you. I was going to keep him from you for the rest of our natural lives because I'm a bitch. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not okay.
It's not okay. And
It's not a healthy response.
no, and it indicates a character flaw in a character that you're supposed to like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, you're a horrible manipulative cunt, and I literally can't
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
respect you for this.
Yeah.
So I hate it when it's used as a plot device.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was
It's just not, I mean,
right. There was one where like she winds up. There was one that it was almost okay because like she winds up pregnant and she thinks he's dead, and her
Yeah.
family
I was
like
gonna say I've seen that a few
Mhm.
times.
and his
that one's
family like runs
actually-
her off and wants
Yeah.
nothing to do with him. Okay, like
Yeah.
Right.
or
And
they
then-
convince her that he's not interested and doesn't want to talk to her and doesn't want
Right.
anything to do with the kids. So she leaves thinking that,
Think that she's been abandoned.
That's one
like
thing.
I can deal with that. Like that's
Yeah.
like that's scummy thing to do on the part of the family, but like that's not her fault.
No.
Right.
It's that I'm keeping it secret from you because I don't want to be involved in your life. I
Yeah.
think I'm doing
I
you.
think you're terrible and I shouldn't
Yeah.
be anywhere
Yeah.
near you. And then
Yeah.
she finds out, oh, you really aren't terrible. I kept you away from my kid forever. And then
Right.
he's okay with it. No.
No.
Yeah.
Or,
so-
or I think I'm doing you a favor by not telling you
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. She didn't like that at all.
mm-mm.
Yeah. So
I
I don't like that.
yeah.
either.
Yeah.
So
So that
this
one might
one-
actually
might actually be okay because
Work.
they do things with the right. It's like they use the baby. like they things break up for a natural reason. We don't know what it is,
Yep.
but it happens. And the baby goes to an adoptive family and is used as leverage from either side.
Yep.
Okay. Might be acceptable.
That one on the other
Son of the sheriff. Okay. Now, this is it's a Harlequin. He'd never stopped loving her, but he didn't dare trust her. After 16 years, Annabelle Delacroix has finally come home. After a disastrous marriage arranged by her father, Philip Delacroix, she's ready to start over. But when she's pulled over by Sheriff Jake Trahan, the past comes rushing back. Memories of first love and youthful passion. Jake Trahan can't believe Annabelle's back. And despite her past betrayal, he still wants her. But it isn't until he meets Annabelle's son, Cade, that he realizes the true extent of Annabelle's disloyalty. Because Cade is his son, too. 16 years! 16 years! She kept the kid a secret. Why would you want her in your life?
Yeah, no. No.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, Secret Baby. It's kind of funny because it took us that long to get down to it. And there was actually like three or four in this particular bag that were all like Secret Baby, because it's such a trope. And I mean, you really have to bend plots to even make it work at all. I mean, there are a few ways to make it work, but mostly not. Now that's old school.
Okay, we have to do one more.
Okay, one more.
Because this trope we have not run across yet.
Okay.
Oh. I caught a glimpse of the cover.
Kathleen
and I'm like,
Morgan,
old school.
enchant the heavens.
Oh my.
I get this one.
Okay.
Okay. Then, as been foretold in a terrifying vision, Rihanna was attacked by a raging white boar. As in a dream, a man came forth like a magnificent god and swept her into his strong, sheltering arms. He was the Roman tribune Marcus, and in Rihanna's exquisite beauty he found a prize he would risk his honor and his life to claim. Wow. Okay, yet even as Marcus's kisses ignited an unquenchable fire, Rihanna's gift warned of betrayal. Ahead lay a perilous odyssey into the heart of Nero's divided Rome, and a road that led from the heat of passion to the flames of battle, where all would be lost or won for dazzling, indomitable love.
Wow.
That is
Damn.
wildly inappropriate for Rome.
And now I want to know what the date that is on that one.
Because that cover is wildly inappropriate.
The cover is from the era of bodice rippers. I mean,
this is Fabio without the hair.
Right.
So,
Which is probably why he doesn't have a head, because they wanted you to assume it was
Whatever
Fabio,
you want.
but they couldn't pay for him.
What do you guys think?
80s.
80s.
Actually, it's 1995.
Really?
Yes. Halfway in. Oh my god. Loud wailing accompanied two girls being carried through the colonnade to the queen's quarters, their torn gowns barely covering their young, budding bodies. Marcus uttered a low, savage curse. Decanius's men viciously thorough in seeking out spoils of war. Yeah. So we have
Wow.
we have not done, historical fantasy
Yeah.
romance.
Yeah. And that definitely sounds like her power. So she's got magic. She's probably some kind of Delphic oracle, given the era that it's set in.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there's any research involved in that, but
No.
loosely speaking.
Loosely.
Oh my god. So yeah. With a soft cry, Rihanna came to him, melding into the whipcord muscle and sinew of his body.
That doesn't sound comfortable. Her vow to... I'm not sure I can say that one.
You know, to Courtney, she will.
No, it's not that I can't say it. It's I'm not sure I should say it.
Wow. Her vow to Cunnigus remained, but for the glorious moments in eternity, it mattered not. On the morrow they'd part, each their own separate destinies, but for one last time they'd savor the joy of their love. Who the fuck is Cunigus? Did I
That word
name
of the-
someone Cunigus? Or like,
Must have. It's totally not an abbreviation for the other thing.
no, not. Mm.
What?
If the Britannia are ever to be completely subdued, we must subjugate their religion. Besides, you know our policy on human sacrifice.
It's a very...
I do. Do you? Yes. Yes, Marcus sighed. It's certainly not one of the more savory features of Druidism. Can I just take a moment to... What?
And this is the far end of weird, historical, over-the-top, overblown, flowery, bad fantasy romance.
Oh. Okay. Blessed goddess, she was willing to work herself senseless for her clan, but why must it be in such tedious, commonplace tasks like washing laundry? Forever. Laundry's there with you forever.
Because laundry.
Laundry.
Love is fleeting. Laundry is
And on that note, for those of us trying to escape laundry,
Oh my god.
we recommend romance tropes. So that one's pretty amazing.
Yes.
I feel the need to go through this and make notes. But I will say that every one of these, someone bought it, and someone read it, and someone enjoyed it.
Somebody bought it and thought it would sell.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. They're all trad pubs, so
This is a prime example of everyone thinks that there's limited pies. There are millions of pies.
There are millions of pies.
There's somebody who wants that
pies.
and every single book we have on our table.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that if I had been in the grocery store and had read everything else on the shelf, I would have bought this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
Because it's so over the top.
because I know what I'm getting, and I would want to go through and like make fun of it while I'm reading it. But it's still like there's parts in there like we're gonna that's mark this
Oh,
one.
okay.
Have a good
Yeah,
time.
so turn that page corner down. So
Yeah, no corners down on that one. But
No, there are a couple of broken spots though, so you can know where the good stuff is.
let it fall open and see where it falls open too.
Right.
Right.
But you know,
Page
all
75.
these,
So
as much as we made fun of it, as much as we we teased on a lot of these, there's good stuff here. Like you know what you're getting when you look at this cover.
yeah,
yeah,
And
absolutely.
And if you go through and you read just looking for the tropes and just looking for what the different beats are, every single one of these hit the beats.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, every
It
single
did.
one of these hits the beats.
Otherwise, an editor wouldn't have purchased it.
Nope.
Because this is all in the era of editors. This is not
Yeah.
independent publishing. So,
No.
So yeah,
and they were
there's-
looking for specific things, and they found it with every single writer on this table.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, we looked at titles from 1988 on up forward to I think 2017.
Yep.
So there's a good solid chunk of time, and if you think about the cultural shifts underneath all of this as well, but romance continued through all of it.
Yep. And it grew and it
So-
changed and it expanded and moved into different eras and just
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's and now for $1 we can pick up 15, 16 books and have all of this amusement. It's well worth the entry fee. I mean, we've made 2 hours of just having so much fun out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Harlequins. We have
Yeah, I was actually
silhouettes.
surprised. We
Avon.
didn't have a lot
Avon.
of the label, the
These,
old school
old school
Harlequins.
ones. Yeah. So
In here, they seem to have fallen out of favor because those are the ones I remember.
one night. Spellbinding tale that marks the debut of a born storyteller.
Oh
Yes.
Oh
Her
my!
debut book. I love it.
Alana Chapman knows no accountant worth her salt would leave town during tax season. And this guy's on the cover?
Wait, what? That's not a blurb I expected.
That's a time travel romance. Guarantee you that's a time travel
Yeah,
romance.
that would be a time travel.
But now
romance.
she has no choice. To honor her aunt's final wishes, the Colorado CPA has come to the
She's an
mist,
accountant.
the mist-shrouded shores of Ireland, intending to stay just long enough to accomplish her mission. But on the mysterious grounds of Carrickcore, something extraordinary happens. Catapult!
Time travel. So that's another big trope.
catapulted back in time. That's gotta hurt. She
Oh.
becomes the prisoner of a ruthless privateer. So A privateer needs a good accountant. What can I say?
Yeah,
It's important.
Anyway,
Oh
so
my goodness.
on that note,
This was just so much fun.
yes,
I'm
I
glad
hope
we
you
did
guys have
this.
enjoyed this as much as we have, because it was educational, but it was also pretty darn hilarious.
It was because
So-
it's over the top and silly and enjoy it.
But it's also a stack of money.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
understanding these tropes, understanding
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
Yeah. This will make you money.
Yeah. And,
Yep.
And,
And don't diss it when it turns up in your genre, because
Yeah, because that's
Seriously.
going to make us someone money.
it's going to make you more money.
Yep.
So anyway,
All right, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next time.
and we have no idea what we're doing,
Yeah,
so, which is kind of the case all the time.
all the time.